Hi guys, ninth and penultimate game of the season coming up. But first let's talk about this game. So for the past 2 weeks, we've been playing Gyros, released in 1983 by Konami. This game's an absolute classic. It's basically Galaxian or Galaga wrapped around a tube. It really is just a fixed shooter, but being able to move all the way around the screen adds an extra dimension, and it gives a good sense of moving through space. One thing you learn while playing is actually it's highly patterned, so you can learn what to expect. And it does certainly ramp up in difficulty. My biggest gripe with this one is that it's really popular, which means lots of people have played it and they're pretty good at it, which means scores are very competitive. And personally, whilst I enjoy it and I'm okay at it, I'm not the best. That same level of ability on a different game that was less popular probably would put me mid-table, but on this, I'm towards the bottom. That doesn't stop it being a good time though, and I think most people enjoyed this one. It was certainly a popular choice in the last round. So with that, let's take a look at the scores. I've had 18 scores submitted, including a return from Charlie Farr and a return from Colin Bryden. I think he's played before, but certainly not for a couple of seasons. I'm down in 14th on 80,000, but even Robbie in 17th is only around 8,000 behind me. Beyond me, bit of a jump to around 100,000 with Lucas, and then it's a pretty gradual increase all the way through to Blue Yak in 3rd. Paul in 8th is the first over 150,000, and then Gradius, My Retro Tech, and Gary Go Gaming all on around 180,000. Colin has done very well for 4th, he got 195,000, and then Blue Yak is a track ahead again, another 50,000 ahead with 244,000. Great performance there. In 2nd, and literally just playing one credit, on stream the other night, is Charlie Farr. He says he can probably do over 1 million, but this was literally a first credit and being pretty rusty, but he still did 378,000. Pretty impressive to watch. Taking the win though is our chooser of this game. His first credit was similar to Charlie Farr, around 350,000 or so, but he gradually improved and managed to do 2 loops. He's ended up on 700,000. A well-deserved victory here. So well done to Graham, and let's check out how things are doing in the table. So there isn't any movement in the bottom half, but we have got a reasonable amount of movement in the top half of the table. Colin taking 4th has moved him up 2, he's now into 10th. Gary Gill did well as well, he's got 1 ahead of Ian. I'm still in 6th, but that return for Charlie Farr has meant that he's crept ahead of My Retro Tech. And then after holding 2nd place for quite some time, Paulie Moz has dropped to 3rd. Blue Yak has caught him. He's had a good run in the last 3 games, taking a 3rd, 4th, and now another 3rd. He stretched 30 points clear of Paul, but taking another win and stretching his lead to the point where he can no longer be caught is Graham 10 Shearers. Big Juffer nicked his crown last season, but with 2 games to spare, our winner of Mamemeister's high score Kerfuffle Season 12 is Graham 10 Shearers. A very well done to Graham. Make sure you get a Champion's Choice game over to me. Now, let's see what our penultimate game of the season will be. Okay, so I've got 12 Season 9 games here. Graham's choice was Ladybug, and after that win, it gets trebled. Colin also went for that one. So let's set things going and see what we get. Okay, it looks like it's stopping on Tarnily. So it's Ordyne. Ordyne's a pretty cool one. I think it's from Namco. It's kind of maybe the first kind of cute 'em up. But yeah, horizontal shooter, pretty good. I'll go make a video and be back in a sec. So our penultimate game of the season is Ordyne, released by Namco in 1988. It's a horizontal shooter, and while solid, is kind of unremarkable. It's a nice cartoony style, and plays perfectly well. It's just that there's not a huge amount that really sets it apart. Hopefully people have a good time with it, and it's reasonably competitive. Let's see, and we'll no doubt get a return from Juff. Presumably at the top, or at least somewhere near the top of the table. Now, let's see the options for the final game of the season. So Season 10 was another solid, but unspectacular season. There are a few decent games, particularly versus Balloon Fight. That was actually a pleasant surprise for most. Kind of an improvement on Joust. I certainly hope we don't get 10-yard fight, Turpin, or Wiping. I didn't enjoy any of those. The others, pretty decent, could be okay games. Zector particularly was an interesting one. So please get your selections in for the final game of the season. I hope you'll enjoy playing some Ordyne, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks with the final game of the season. See you then.